Now entering Nerdist.com.
Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Oh, God, another one.
Here it is. You're wearing your mask face where your eyes, you have your hand over your face.
I want to go home.
We're going to go home. That's
You know
what's going to
what?
happen. We're going to knock this out. We're going to go home.
I'm wearing a jog bra. This is to shame myself into working out when I get home. Because
wow.
mostly if I skip a workout, it's because I didn't want to put on my jog bra because it is such a fucking hassle.
It's squeezy.
It's uncomfortable.
They're
I've got to bend and take a boob and it's like a mammogram it in there, and it's squished now.
Yep.
But now that I'm in,
You're like,
I
oh, I
might
could
as well do
probably
some
work out.
jumping jacks
Right.
in my home garage.
I took a walk last week.
You did?
Yep. Good for me.
Yep.
Trying to be more healthy, you guys. Not a lot. Just mostly. The weird thing is with this, I'm supposed to not eat all the things, right? I'm not eating all the.
Are you getting any intel on your condition?
Tomorrow I'm going in for an intel on my condition, you guys.
Yeah.
She's going to do some kinesiology. And so we're going to do some muscle testing, and we're going to rattle the bones and look at the moon, and we're going to see if my thyroid is any fucking better. And if it isn't, I'm going to drink some coffee. And it's going to be pretty great. I'm looking forward to it.
Are
I
you
might
paying
even have
for
a
this out of
sandwich.
pocket?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Because I have Kaiser.
Yeah, right. Right.
I have, here's a win. I never enter Kaiser. This is the
Yeah.
win of my life, is
Yeah.
that I get a mammogram outside. I get an outside gynecologist. And if I go into Kaiser, just write me
You're
off.
gonna die.
Just write me off. Start a GoFundMe
coming out.
and give my money to my iguana. I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
I might have I went to the dermatologist to get the monthly mole check. They grow fast on me. The yearly check, right? And
Okay. Did you find something?
she goes, stick out your tongue. So stick out my tongue. I don't have a mole on my tongue, but my tongue is cracked.
God.
And she said I have a vitamin B deficiency. And
Okay.
so I have to take a whole bunch of vitamin B pills every day.
Okay,
But
interesting.
I have dry mouth, and I'm wondering if that's affecting how I speak on stage because it's a little harder. I've noticed it's a little harder to talk now. And like when I'm really tired, I stutter, and I'm like, okay, that's correctable by getting enough sleep. It wasn't always like that. I used to
Yep.
be able to
Just keep going.
whatever. And then, so is that, an
Is that
age
something?
thing or is that I don't know. I don't want to get old. I don't want problems. It's not fun. It's not,
Right.
It's not interesting. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah, now that
I'm
you
taking
mentioned that.
fucking vitamins now.
Right.
I'm that person and I am.
Right. Are you going to get one of those things that tells you what day of the week it is? To take
No,
the
I
fucking-
won't. I refuse. I will not live like that.
What if you get forgetful?
I won't be able to speak. That's all I'll remember.
That's all you're like, oh, I guess I
But
forgot
have
to
you
take
noticed?
that thing.
Is there
I have a
anything-
thing.
What?
When you just said that, I was like, because I was listening to sets over the last week.
Yeah.
And since I stopped drinking the coffee, I'm whispering my fucking act.
Interesting.
Who wants to be goddamn whispered at with their jokes?
Hillary Clinton just gave a speech.
Yeah.
Okay. It was the speech that she gave when the night that she won New Jersey.
Right.
So this is like
Her
several
New
weeks
Jersey
ago.
speech? Yeah.
But she's kind of, doing the thing where she's shouting because she's talking to 20 jillion people.
Right.
But then she also, she took it down. I think she got some vocal coaching because she
Yeah.
was a little one note in her vocal tones.
Yeah.
And this is not a sexist thing or anything. You have to switch up how your voice sounds all the time or people
All
get
talking
bored.
people. All talking people have to mix it up.
We know that on stage,
Yep.
So she had a softer tone when she was talking
interesting.
about the website.
Okay.
Like go to the website. It wasn't like it was. I could tell her natural inclination was to project it, and she'd probably been no. This is when
Bring
you
it down.
bring it down and talk. Even though it's 20 million people, you got a mic and you can talk.
You can just talk
You
because
just talk. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did this set at the lab the other night, and I was listening to it, and it's me working on these new jokes. And so I am thinking before I'm speaking, which is not usually how I tell
Yeah,
jokes.
right.
I usually am barreling ahead and
Right.
trying to get to the punchline.
Yeah.
And so this is...
You're on a mission, man.
I'm on a mission. You get a laugh. And but so the setups are amusing, and but they're also different.
Yeah, they're
than
new.
They're new. So I'm sort of whispering very carefully, and I've slowed down, which has been the number one note that Jimmy Brogan has given me. No, the number one note that any number of people have given me.
Me too.
Including my dad.
You can almost, that's an across the board note for anybody. I remember Seinfeld said, you just talk like and you should feel like you sound like this when you're talking on a television show, and it will sound normal
To the
the
world?
audience. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because your adrenaline is just going nuts, and you're and
Oh,
you,
so try to
you
put
have it all
yourself
in your
in
head. You're
slow-mo?
trying to remember it. Yeah, kind of put yourself in slow mo if you can. It's tough to do.
Yeah. That sounds really tough. And Maria gets that she doesn't enunciate. So
That's weird. I don't
never-
think that about her.
well, I've seen a lot of sets, and sometimes, well, I think when we get tired, we do tend to. And if you told the joke about a gajillion times,
Yeah.
it can be speed. So whatever.
But sometimes my mouth gets tired, you know?
Yeah, my mouth's tired right fucking now. Quite honestly.
Well, 55 more minutes and we're out of here, lady.
Finally. Oh my God. It's somebody texted me today about the election, and they said this is because when Obama was elected, or when he was running, and it was right the election day, I got every 2 hours I got a phone call or a text from Andy or some damn thing just saying, I am having an enormous erection. This is the most enormous erection I've ever
Don't want to
seen.
know that about your husband.
It was an election joke, and this is the biggest election I've ever seen in my life.
Oh.
I've never seen an election this big. And
Oh,
it just
my
went on like
God.
that he kept telling the same joke, like a guy, over
like
and
a
over.
comic, you mean?
Like a comic, but like a dad. Like a dad who tells you a joke 700 times, hoping that you'll laugh at it 612 times. And then the other 90 times, they're like, maybe next time. And so...
Were you on stage that night?
oh no! I actually, when Obama was elected, I was terrified to go out of the house because I thought they were going to kill him.
Oh my God!
When the day he was elected, I couldn't go out. The day of his inauguration, I couldn't go out.
I was in New York, and I was working at this website called 23/6. It was a political comedy site.
Okay.
And so we were having a huge election party. It was in Soho.
Wow.
It's right near the the current
Yeah.
HuffPo offices. It was really cool. So it was this giant party, and then my son was with me and his father
Neat.
and stuff. And my son was like 2. you know.
Yeah, little.
So I remember, and you know, the apartments in Harlem. Right?
Yeah.
So we just instead of driving up the freeway, we just drove up maybe Broadway. I forget a little bit, and then we just went up right through Harlem, and people like I was screaming out the window. People were the jubilation throughout New York, but I just remember that slow drive up Manhattan,
Yeah.
to 145th Street,
Oh.
and people were bananas, crazy. Everyone was
awesome.
screaming. Everyone, it was, you know, everyone was talking to each other, like in the
Right.
car. I'm just high fiving strangers. You
Yep.
know, it was such joy and jubilation.
Yep.
It was amazing.
Yep.
I'll never forget that.
It's so cool.
And if Hillary is elected,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have a son who only remembers. He's had 8 years of an African American president, and then
At least 4.
probably 8 years of a female president.
Yep.
That's crazy, isn't
That is
it?
crazy. That's a brave new world, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. If Hillary is elected, I will also not go out. And if Hillary is inaugurated, I will also not go out. And then I will be just as happy and disappointed with Hillary Clinton's presidency as I have been with Barack Obama's.
Right.
You know, I have been happy with Barack Obama in retrospect, but as we've been going along, I'm like, no, that wasn't great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yep.
Why would you do that? That's actually, and I look forward, quite honestly, to Hillary Clinton's to 4 years of that, because otherwise, anarchy.
Yeah.
And not a huge fan of anarchy.
I'm not-
because
I'm
I'm
not-
50. So
I'm not. I'm dreading the next couple months though of the campaign.
You know that the convention is in July?
Yeah.
I wish the election was in July because
Right.
then we could all call it. Just
Do you
wrap it
know-
up.
No one has been trolled more than Hillary Clinton. If you look at women in history, I don't think anyone's been trolled more than she has.
No.
And she's like winding up her life in the intranet area. So
Mm-hmm.
the intranet time, and it's a horrific amount of shit being slung at you all the
Right.
time. And she's, the fact that she still ran.
10 months
Is
ago, I would have
fucking
voted.
amazing.
Yeah, 10 months ago, I was going to vote for Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
And then the shit storm started hitting her, even worse than
Right.
like the Benghazi hearings.
Yeah.
And I was like, and it was because of probably 100 guys who were Bernie bros.
Yeah.
Probably ruined it. Because previously I would have voted for either of them.
Yeah.
And I knew that she was better qualified, but I liked what he said better.
Yeah.
And because he speaks more to my liberal heart,
Right.
And she's at work. She's always been at work, and she is working for a living, and and she can do the job, and she will be very, very good at it. But will she do the things that I want her to do? Probably not, but she might do. She might do some of them.
It's going to be the shit on the internet, the Fox News, the red state politics. What's his face? The guy in Texas, the lunatic. Andy Jones, Alex Jones.
Okay.
Like that whole machine, which has been it's been active with Obama,
Yeah.
but it's
Well,
going
they'll go
going into
apeshit.
overdrive now.
Yeah.
and
And
I
they
don't know if I
can.
could take it. I mean, she could take it.
Right.
It's going at her, but
Yeah. But here's the thing is the racism that they've had to hide for the last 8 years.
Right.
That has been there and has been simmering underneath, but has been there, has had to be hidden. Sexism has never had to be hidden.
no one.
No one's
Right.
ever felt the need to hide sexism.
I know.
Do you know why? Bitches, man. We're all bitches.
Well, when he
and
was
we're nagging. Why are we nagging? Why do you want me to get up and get dressed?
when Obama was running, I was mad about that. I was like, and I was because I was on Hillary's side, and then I
Right.
kind of liked what he was
she was more
saying
qualified
more.
than him.
But I was like, so this country that is so it's incredibly racist and sexist, but they're a little bit more sexist because they would rather elect. A black male whose middle name is Hussein. Oh, by the way, it's fucking afraid of Islam. And despite all that, they'd rather go with that guy who's also a new senator
Yeah.
than this woman who's experienced.
Right.
And he was great, but I also think the two choices, even with Democrats, are like, we can't do a woman yet.
Can't do a
we'll do
woman
this.
yet.
We'll do this guy.
Yeah.
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 And
She has to run against a genuine orangutan.
right.
She has to run against a genuine, just disaster of a pitchman. Who did I tell you my father said about him?
What?
Is that he's not a closer, he's a pitchman. He's a good pitchman, that guy, but he doesn't close. Here's the thing: I like to close in one. I like to close in one. When you make the sale, you don't talk to the husband without the wife. You don't talk to the wife without the husband because they're just going to say at the end of you've wasted an hour. And then they're going to be like, well, I got to wait till my husband comes home. Got to wait till my husband. So that guy's not a closer. He's not going to sell it because he doesn't know that both of those, he talked to the husbands, then he talked to the wives.
Here's the
and he
thing.
didn't know that they were both being recorded.
When Trump is talking to the husband, the wife's like, you fucking piece of shit. And she's leaving the room. And she's divorcing him.
Hopefully. But somebody told me they got a call from a Hillary, like one of the calls,
Yeah.
support Hillary calls. And it was, my friend Elizabeth. So she gets this call, and the guy who calls to say, you should vote for Hillary because not only are you getting Hillary, you're also getting Bill. And Bill, that's what the guy said.
No.
And Elizabeth
Get
had to say,
that asshole out of here. I am
Right.
so against Bill Clinton.
well,
Gone.
Elizabeth said, when you call a woman voter, you may not want to tell her that you want to vote for her this woman because her husband's going to be there and he'll
Yeah.
have her back.
Yeah.
Because that's creepy and dumb.
I don't want Hillary talking to him. I don't want her getting any advice from him. I want her cabinet
I got
to
Bill
be
in the Deadpool.
not Bill Clinton.
I got Bill in the Deadpool.
What do you mean?
I'm hoping he.
Oh, he's.
Yeah, I think she'll be a widow by November. You heard it here first, you guys. Jackie Cation, jackass, and
Yeah.
I don't know, but the thing is she's ready, and I've said it before like this before. She's ready to headline. She's fine.
Yeah.
She's got the chops. She got the time. She'll close. It'll be fine.
I hate talking about politics on this podcast.
Then let's stop.
Thank you.
What shows are you doing this week?
Oh, let's
Yeah.
see. Okay. I have a couple. Let's see. Tonight, of course, I'm doing 2 podcasts.
Right. I asked the downstairs at Nerd Melt if I could get a work in after this, but I don't think it'll still be going.
What's going on?
It's the Cards Against Humanity. It's a Cards Against Humanity stand-up show.
Well, I'm in my jog bra, so I'm not doing a set. I so resent that I have to put on a fucking separate piece of clothing so I can move.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't blame you. I'm wearing my cargo shorts, so I'm definitely going up. No, I'm not wearing cargo shorts.
I'm, let's see, Friday, I'm at, I don't have a set till Friday. Unless I, scare something up on
Of the-
Thursday. But
of
you
the
know
week
what?
of the
Wednesday and
13th?
Thursday I have to nestle down with my little son. You
Yeah,
know? I got to
regroup,
hang out with my
regroup.
little boo. And then Friday,
then Friday he
Comedy
goes.
Magic. I'm
Comedy
going to bring
Magic.
him with me to Comedy Magic.
Well, he likes salmon, doesn't he? The
Oh,
boy?
yeah, he likes eating food.
Right,
Yeah,
he likes food.
Drop him off at his
He is-
dad's. Saturday, I'm doing a show. Karen Foreman has a show, and I've never done it before. And then then after that, I'm going to do Tammy's show at the Comedy Store.
Oh, at the Comedy Store.
She does a show at the Belly Room. That's so great. The Belly
that-
Room's such a great room.
It is a really great
Yeah,
room,
I wish I was
especially
past
full.
at the Comedy Store, man. I'd love to be part of that.
Have you
know?
ever even talked to Adam?
No, because if I get rejected, I'll fucking stab him in the face.
Fair enough, because I
can't-
have rage.
I can't go near that rage.
I have, and it's ridiculous rage. It doesn't matter. It's not like I don't get to go up in town, but I don't have rage, but I'm mad.
I want.
I do want.
I
I'm
don't
with you.
have enough, and I want more.
Right, me. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm doing the weekend. I'm doing 2 shows a night at Ventura Comedy Club out in Ventura Harbor with Felicia Michaels, Karen Rontowski, and Kira Sultanovich. The 4 of us are going to do a bunch of shows. And
So you guys are 4 headliners on one show?
yeah, and we'll probably make a nickel, I think, and then.
Do
A
you?
lot of silence over there.
Let me just.
bit of a
do you guys
smirk,
each-
you guys.
Do you guys headline that room separately, or is it?
I do.
Okay.
Is that
I don't know.
obnoxious? I don't know about their.
No,
their
I'm just
careers.
wondering. It's good. That's good.
I believe Felicia does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's
I
not
just
booking
don't-
us
I
because
just,
he's.
don't want people
If-
somebody getting 4 headliners for one price because they're women.
And it's chick shtick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, Randy Lubis is not booking it as chick shtick, but I don't know what he's calling it. And all I hope. Well, I'll keep that hope to myself, and it'll be a private hope that I have. And but I don't care. I don't even. All I know is that I know that nobody's going to care in what order, because
Right.
that group's fine. That group's fine for order. We'll flip a coin, and
Oh, yeah,
whoever
yeah.
goes first goes first.
Whoever
Whoever
wants
goes
to-
last goes last.
Get out.
And whoever wants to drive home first.
That
Yeah.
sounds fun.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to hang out with those guys. Mm-hmm. And they're all talk about 4 different comics.
Yeah.
Karen Rontowski, Kira Sultanovich, Felicia Michaels, and myself.
You guys are all white,
We're all super white ladies.
Yes.
And
but you're all great headliners.
Yep. And and Kira and Felicia both have kidleys.
Yeah.
So they talk about kids. Rontowski and I don't have kids, but Rontowski and I's act could not be any different.
Guys have nothing in common.
I just saw her today. I found at an art museum. I was on the road, right?
Yeah.
I think I was in North Carolina.
Yeah.
In Charlotte, we went to the Mint, Maria and I, and in the gift shop, they had G.I. Joes in yoga poses. They're called Yoga Joes. And I bought her a box of Yoga Joes.
I feel so sad right now. I'm like,
You shouldn't, because she
my
loved them.
son
She loved them.
is being put to bed by a babysitter right now.
So I can tell you about
hear
Yoga
this
Joes.
information.
I was on the road. I had a really good set. No, is that something? Is that something else? And then I'm going to do Uncap. I'll do Uncap on the weekend.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I talked to her.
She sent me an email asking about that. I haven't replied. I need a new story. I don't have anything. Nothing's happened to me since then.
Oh my God, so many things.
I just did it, you know?
You could talk about that review. You could talk about that horrible review
I don't
from
want
last
I'm
week.
done.
You're
I
done.
don't want to give it anymore.
You purged it. Well played. Well
I
played.
did.
That's good.
Yeah, I
And
bitch and dump. That's what it's
I'm
called.
also doing a benefit for giraffes.
What's
Yep.
wrong? Are they hurting?
Yeah, I guess giraffes. Or somebody
Oh
wants
my
to kill
God.
them all and turn them into rugs. Who knows what they want to do? It sounds like a runner, doesn't it? I mean, how do you?
Yes.
That's a
Right.
long rug. It's I don't know what you're doing
Well,
with a
that's
giraffe.
a funny joke, but don't do it at the benefit.
I
for
won't.
giraffes. Save it for the
Save that.
benefit for
Guess
rhinos.
what? I also purged this one. I purged that joke here, so I'm done with that.
I got this moleskin. Okay, let me talk about my notebook. This is high minutia here. I got this moleskin.
That is.
I usually get a moleskin. I used to.
I used
have
to
like
only get a
I used to
moleskin.
get mead, like the mead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Black?
Yes, black with that kind of cowhide sort of cover. Okay.
I got that for years.
Yes, and sometimes I get blue. I like to switch the color up every time, so I don't always have like a bunch of things in a row. So
Yeah.
I remember which one it is. So I get this moleskin. I got a bunch of them, and the pages are really thick. Like, feel these pages; they're thicker than normal, right?
that is thick, 'cause
Yeah, it's
then
almost
how
like
do you-
a
and you gotta
like a
lick your
sketching
finger
one or
and-
something.
Yeah.
So I'm almost done with it.
Right, because
And
what are you
it's-
gonna?
It's I'm looking through it and I'm like, I think I got one joke out of this whole fucking notebook. This is ridiculous.
When you go from notebook to notebook, what do you do?
I don't know. They start to stack up because I'm like, I got to go through it. I got to transcribe. I got to write down things. And
I do that too.
I don't do it. They stack up. So I've got a stack of about 4 of them. And now here's another fucking 5th one because I went through this one so fast because the paper's thick.
Too thick. I'm working with 2 free notebooks. I got this one, and then for some reason I was
What's
at a
that
banana.
one?
It was a free notebook somebody gave me. It's pretty nice, actually. It's a good size.
It's too tiny for me.
Well, it's more of a sort of a little bit bigger than paperback size.
Right.
So I usually get a little bit bigger, like the moleskin size.
Yeah.
So I don't mind it.
I like the paper though.
It feels nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's not as thick, and it feels like regular paper.
Yeah, it's got a lot. And the cover is just cardboard.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it feels like there's hope.
Yeah.
In this notebook. That might be the title. It feels like there's hope.
Hope in a notebook.
Hope in a notebook. I don't mind that. But the next notebook, I was at a Banana Republic. It's a great story. But for some reason, with my whatever purchase of pants or top or some sort of middle, I received a free notebook. They were like, "Oh, we have these
What?
extra
Really?
notebooks." Yeah.
Oh.
And so I have
Is it
a backup.
is it joke book quality?
I haven't unwrapped it yet because I fear it's big. I don't like if it's too big.
Yeah.
I had a gas station notebook for a little while.
The moleskin. What is this, like 5x7?
Yeah,
it's perfect.
It might be a little bit. No, 5x7. That seems.
Hold
about
on,
right.
I still have my measuring
Measuring tape from last week.
Yes, hold
Woo!
on. 8.5 by 5.
Please measure mine, please. Please
Okay.
measure mine.
This is the handiest I've ever been in my entire life. Yours is 7.25 by 5.
It's my favorite
know
episode, you
what?
guys.
It's
I'm having the
not-
most fun ever.
The size isn't that different between these, although mine is double the paper, but it's thicker paper.
So probably same numbers. Same numbers.
I'm as mad about paper as I am at Brock Turner. Like,
You can't. You can't go there. The paper. Do you ever? What do you think of an A4? I had a guy. I had
An A4? What do you
remember
mean?
Jim Coughlin? You know Jim
Yes,
Coughlin.
yes.
Very funny comic. That guy. People should book that guy. I love that guy.
Yes.
And but he loves A4 paper, which is the size of paper that is used internationally everywhere, but in the U.S. of A. You know how, like, when you pick a paper tray, you pick 8.5 by 11.
Yeah.
There's also A4.
I think I've seen that.
And there's an entire dork forest dedicated, whatever, to A4 paper. I'm just going to say it, whether it's true or not, but it's Jim Coughlin's episode of The Dork Forest, and it's all about fucking A4 paper. That guy loves minutia. It was it's a great story. I'm going to tell it again. Jim Coughlin came on
Please.
The Dork Forest.
Let's go back to the Banana Republic and your freebies for your
Right. So
middle clothes.
Right. But the moleskins can be like $20. So,
yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah.
But that's
They're
the way
a
it
little
goes.
pricey.
But
But you know,
they
like
feel
I always
nice.
buy them when I'm on the road. You know, it's like a celebratory thing. Like
Yeah.
I have my next one is it's this size, but it's cloth and I think I got it at the Strand, maybe.
Oh, that's neat.
In New York, and I'm very excited to break it in soon. But it's weird. Like I have to go through and write a whole headlining set list and keep it in the back of each notebook. So if I'm ever
Well, that's
doing
shrewd.
45, I forget. Because if you look at this book, all it's mom jokes and my kids' Hispanic jokes, and that's it. You'd only think that's all I have. But that's
Right.
kind of what it feels like right now. But
that's not true. So and it's been at least 3 notebooks since I've done. What I used to do was I'd go through the last notebook and in the first 2 pages write down everything from the previous notebook.
that's so smart.
And then, but I love the idea of in the back of the book having a 45-minute set.
Yeah. Just right there in the
Just
right
somewhere
here.
in the fly
Yes.
leaf or
Yeah,
something.
in the- in the
that'd
binding.
be. Yeah,
Yeah, I have. Do you have all your old notebooks?
I do have all my own notebooks.
Me too.
You know what Bamford does?
What?
She throws them out.
That's
It's
That's
almost a
heartbreaking.
crime. It is heartbreaking. And I said it to her one time, probably 6 years ago. I said, "Why don't you give them to me? Like I'm her mom, and I'm going to put them in a plastic bin and give them to her when she's old, like it's a drawing." But I was like, "Why don't you give them to me, and then you can have them if you want?" And she goes, "Nope. Watch this." And she threw one out in front of me, and I was like, "God damn it!"
Well, what does she do in a situation where she has jokes to transfer over? She doesn't.
She doesn't.
She's like Leno. She just keeps it in her head.
Yeah, it's just in her head, and then if it's gone from her head, it's gone. And I'm like, but that joke was so
No.
good. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's super painful for you and I, but it's her process, man.
Wow.
So, but it was fascinating watching her throw that because I almost dumpster dived after it, and I was like, nope. And because quite honestly, I didn't want her to think I was going to eBay it.
That's why you get a moleskin. You're not going to throw away a moleskin. They cost 20 bucks.
Right. She always gets a gas station one. She always gets just a regular notebook. And she goes through them pretty quick. But I think recently, I think she's got something else going on now where she's
A series, a TV series.
a TV. Right, she also has a TV
Doesn't
series.
she have that going on?
In her notebook, she's got a TV series. Somebody asked me what Lady Dynamite was like on Netflix, and I said,
I've watched the 2 episodes. It's great.
It's great.
Yeah, I'm like
was like,
midway through 3.
It's the producer of Arrested Development,
Yeah.
the producer of South Park, and Maria Bamford.
Yeah.
Put those 3 things in a blender and just get out of the way.
Well, you know what? No, it could go wrong. Lots of times, amazing things go wrong.
That's
and
true,
so
with amazing
it's
people.
It's a lot of work to get it right.
Yes.
It's not like put them in a room, it's magic. It's a lot of work.
But people are, but no, they don't expect, they just want to know what it's like.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, it's a little bit like South Park because it's kind of dirty.
Yeah.
It's super weird, like Arrested Development, but like in a family, like in a businessy kind of way. And then
Yeah.
Maria's family stuff is super weirdo.
Yeah.
From a third angle. So
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah, you're entering a different world. You know.
Some of those colors are super bright.
Yeah, they are.
And so, anyway, what else? Oh, and then I'm doing the giraffe benefit, and then I was going to do, another set at Meltdown. I have something here. But those are the only, I'm around for a little bit. Because I think that when this one drops, I will be flying back from doing Kansas with Maria.
Yeah, in New York.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
New York
I'll
and
be
all
in
that.
New York. I'll be at the Stand and the Broadway in New York.
Because you're there
the
all
weekend
week?
of the 18th and 19th.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm auditioning a new flight pattern. Okay, or flights. Okay, so to do a weekend in New York, I
Right.
have been doing this thing where I take a red eye on Friday night because
Yeah.
we work Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Take the red eye, get in, sleep all day,
Mm-hmm.
do spots on Saturday, and then, then what do? Do I stick around on? I've been leaving on Sunday,
Okay.
and so it's just one night, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a new thing where I'm going to try. There's a new flight, I think, on JetBlue that leaves at 5:30 in the morning on Monday and gets into LAX at 8:30.
Oh,
So it's going to be horrific.
8:30 at LAX.
Yes.
Not into Burbank even.
No.
That is unfortunate.
The Burbank options are shitty.
Okay.
So I'm taking like a 9-ish flight out of Burbank, and then I'll fly
the
in Monday
5:30.
morning, and then
It lands at
Uber to
Direct
work.
to work.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. That might be awful. But there's another. Then after that, later on this year, I want to try one where Virgin Airlines has like an 11:35 out of LAX.
Oh, wow.
Really late one. So you could do a set on Friday night.
Yep.
Because I don't like to be rusty.
No.
Do an early set on Friday night.
Here in Los Angeles?
In LA, get on a plane, fly to New York that night, sleep all day.
You're a monster.
And then do
That's
spots
awesome.
on. Then you're as ready as you can be. I don't like that little voice in my head going, "You didn't do a set, you're rusty." If I can smash it by going, "Yes, I did, motherfucker,
Yes, that's right.
did,"
Did
then
you
I'm
not
good.
see me? Yeah, I was there.
One time when I went to New York, early on, when I was doing
11:35
these-
out of LAX?
yeah,
Okay.
Virgin Airlines. Yeah,
You could get a set at the store, Comedy Magic.
yeah,
Perfect. Anyway.
yeah.
But years ago.
What?
You were,
oh,
I
okay.
interrupted.
So no, like maybe a year ago when I was just like, okay, I gotta go back to New York like once a month, and just it's like jumping in jumper. It's like double dutch or whatever.
Yeah.
You're jumping in a jump rope. I want to be able to get in that rhythm quickly, and I don't want to trip and fall on my face.
Right.
If I go back every 6 months, I'm just all of a
You're
sudden
gonna
I'm LA
reinvent.
coffee house comic. And I need to, boom, 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 boom. I don't want
Right.
to lose that.
Right.
So I got in, I did that my Friday night, and then I woke up at 11 o'clock on Saturday, like, and I did like a 4 p.m. open mic that I found on this website called
Awesome.
Bad Slava.
Okay.
The resource here in LA is the Comedy Bureau.
Yeah.
I love that thing.
Yeah, that's great. That's Jake.
Yes,
Jake Kruger.
Jake Kroger. That is a service,
That
uncompensated service to humanity. is
right. There's a
Comedy
PayPal
Bureau.
link. So
I've donated money.
Me too.
Yeah.
So throw a shekel.
And if you're a comic and you they have regular produced shows where you'd have to introduce yourself to the booker or whatever, just hang out and maybe some people that can introduce you. And then they have open mics. Like when I was gearing up for my dad's stuff, I just did a ton of open mics, and
Yeah.
and
You had to do it.
yeah.
I just lied, by the way.
Why?
Never giving Jake Kruger a dime.
What a dick.
I'm a dick.
How?
I'll be doing it tonight.
Oh
I'll be-
my God.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I know.
Do you know I believed you? Do you know how easy that came out of you?
Right. Here's the thing.
What-
Why am
who
I not,
are you?
Why am I not acting? Right? Did you see that acting? I don't know why. Why don't I have an Emmy?
Oh, my
or a
God.
Tony or whatever.
Who
the
would
thing people that
manage a
actors
liar
get.
like that?
Well, I don't have a manager either. So there you go. Boom. That's it. That's the reason. It's hey, do you want to do our comic of the week early?
Yes.
Andy Smith
Andy Smith.
from Wisconsin, people.
Is she originally from Wisconsin?
Yes, she is. She's from Janesville, Wisconsin, home of a beautiful toxic waste dump that shows methane gas in the night.
She, well, that's not her only credit.
No, that is not her only credit. She's a damn delight.
She's really funny. She's
so funny.
She's done pretty well on America's, Last Comic Standing a couple times.
The first time I did Last Comic Standing was 2006, and I did it with her.
Yeah.
And she had hilariously one of the darkest jokes that we all just looked at each other and was like, NBC, 8 p.m., 2006. What is
Do you
she doing?
remember it?
It was about it was a mine in like one of the Carolinas had crashed. And she was talking about someone losing a leg, and it was hilarious. But my friends,
great.
It was dark. It was a dark, dark joke. Andy Smith, Andi Smith, S-M-I-T-H.
yeah, and she has a little daughter, and they're kind of, she's working out of Wisconsin right now.
Is she? Because she was working out of either Missouri or Kansas for a little while, right?
I might be
And,
wrong then, but
no,
I
no,
just
but-
saw her at Portland at Bridgetown.
Oh, you just saw her at Bridgetown?
Yeah.
So I think she's back in Wisconsin with her family a little
Yeah.
bit. And yeah, she is.
Find her on YouTube, Andy Smith. Super funny.
Yeah, she's so great, you guys.
What are we going to talk about?
I don't know. I sort of burned through everything. Where are we at, Aristotle? 30.
Oh, my
God
God.
damn it. We have 27 more minutes.
Oh my God! We want to get off stage, and Aristotle just gave us a stretch. the credit card machine's broken. You got to do more time. Oh,
Okay.
fuck.
So you did the credit card machine. Yeah. I like that. Did you ever work at a comedy club when you weren't a comic?
No,
Like waiting tables or
I barely
seating
do
people?
now, and I'm a comic.
Come on, boom. Ladies and gentlemen, book Lori Kilmartin. If you could please get her some work, she would love that. Poor thing. And But I remember the first club I ever worked at, I also had a seat. And
really?
then go on stage after seating. And then I had the dumbest gig when that club burned down in Madison. The new club that opened up, which Yoder ended up booking, was like it was called a Funny Bone for a heartbeat, but it
Yeah.
was a funny business.
Right.
Or something like that. But that guy had me do an anti-job. He didn't believe that I had done stand-up for 8 months in a row. Mm-hmm. It's probably a testimonial to how good I was at that time, ladies and germs. But you
know what? Also, the phrase ladies and germs, please never say that again. Please don't say at my age and ladies and germs. I'm sorry.
done and done.
Thank you.
So I got to introduce the MC, and he said, you can do 2 minutes before the MC.
Oh my God, before the MC.
Yeah. And I, with all the pride of a stand-up comic, took that gig. And yeah.
Of course you would.
Yeah. So I took it. And
I want
did-
it now.
Yeah. You always want it. So, yeah. Anything comparable? I had
No,
one.
but there was at New York Comedy Club back when I first started in New York, like in 2099 or something like that. And for a long time, while Al Martin opened, he had a lot of comics that would work there during the day or clean it. There's like comics that would clean the club and then do spots. And I think Pete Coriali was one of them.
Wow.
He's really funny. There's another guy named Rio, and Rio is from Japan, and I ended up doing a web series kind of inspired by him that ended up starring him.
Yeah?
It was called American English with Jimmy T. And I was in one of them, but I wrote and
Directed or produced?
I didn't direct it. I got a lesson in being fucked over in a big way during this thing.
Okay.
Which I didn't learn on my special.
Right, that you needed to
I
then
just get-
relearn.
yeah.
Yes.
But the premise, what I wanted it to be, was this: a pop star in Japan comes to America, and he does a show called American English for a Japanese audience.
Okay.
And he's teaching them slang words that they can use, American style slang words that they can use in Japan because they love Americans, right?
Got it.
And so while he's doing it, he's just slamming Americans all over the place, and he's like equally racist. He hates everybody that's not Japanese.
Okay.
So that's everybody.
So based on
Yes.
fact.
yes, and based on the Japanese, in their heads, the order of superiority in
Right, the chosen
Asian
ones,
culture.
yes.
Yeah. So, he's sarcastic.
We love our Japanese fans, you guys.
and nasty. Oh, I loved it. I loved
was
doing it.
a treat.
And so we shot it in 2 days, and the production company made every dime I had. Because I'm the idiot that goes, how much? Because Comedy Central gave me money for it.
Yeah.
I was pitching it as a series.
Yeah.
And, I had a pilot written. It would have been a funny series, I think. But, because you get to go to different parts of New York City and learn about it, and then learn a slang word that's
Right.
associated with it.
Right, right.
So all of different boroughs, different neighborhoods, different scenes.
Plenty of episodes.
Everything. And so
You
they
told them.
so they go, how much you getting? How much? I go, yeah, Comedy Central's going to give me $15,000 to put it together.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, okay. And then the budget is $12,000.
Fuck.
Yeah. And then the other 3,000 went for all this, like everything else. Like I didn't pay myself at
not
all.
a
I
dime.
get a dime.
Yeah.
Right. And then, they I can't, there's some things I can't say.
Right, right.
But the person they brought in to direct hadn't directed before. And I wasn't told this. I was told, we have this director from this, he's done this.
But he was a PA over there.
Well, they have access to him. They later said, we didn't promise you this guy.
Oh.
And so the guy that they brought in had never directed before.
Ugh.
And it was a freezing cold day, and Rio was freezing, and it was like his first acting job.
Yeah.
And the reason part of the reason I thought of it, or one thing that contributed to it, is Rio would do these really short sets. He would do like 7 minutes because his mouth would get tired from speaking English.
Okay.
Like it was just the muscles were different, and he would get physically exhausted from talking. He told me this once, and that's
Okay.
just stuck in my head.
Yeah.
And so in my dream of American English with Jimmy T, by the end of the half hour, he's like he can barely speak, and
Right.
and he's angry, and he's bitter, and he's not being, Americans don't give a shit about him, and he's famous in Japan, so he's got all this
Yeah.
going on, but. Whatever we ended up doing 3-minute webisodes
Right.
that are probably somewhere on the internet, but
that guy,
Comedy Central, it was on some arm of theirs called Atom for a while, ATOM. Does that
Okay.
And
That does
then
ring a
it
bell.
got swallowed, and I don't know where it went, but it was a really fun character. And there's no Asian Americans on television at all. He wasn't American; he was Asian. There's very few Asians, and I thought it was a really cool role because he wasn't being diminished as a person. He was like a
He was the
full,
powerful,
famous, angry, racist person. That I was doing my best to write it from my white lady from Walnut Creek point of view. But I mean,
Yeah, but that could have.
it would have been cool.
It would have been
I think
cool.
it would have been really. I think it would have taken off because I don't think anyone's seen a character like that on TV. But whatever.
And always helpful. Always helpful to have a role model, folks.
So I was out. I would say I broke even in that I didn't make any money.
Right.
I think I tried to pay the actors, and then of course you have to pay everybody else. You have to pay makeup. Nobody else works for free.
Nope.
But the creators are. It's like with websites and stuff. That like everyone wants you to write stuff for free or contribute for free. But the people that make the website, the programmers and the designers, they don't work for free.
They have to get paid because
Yeah.
otherwise there's nothing there. And you're like,
Ah, it
it
drives
turns
me
out there would be
nuts.
nothing there if nobody wrote any
Fucking
content.
business.
Yeah, it's weird. It's the technical stuff gets valued higher
Yeah.
than the creative stuff, and it's not to devalue the technical stuff because everyone deserves to be paid,
Yeah.
obviously. So don't be ridiculous.
Yeah. So it was weird. Like we were auditioning, actors to play Jimmy T, and it was like it was a tough role, and I felt really torn because Rio sort of inspired it, although it ended up being nothing like his persona, and he
Yeah.
wasn't really an actor. And then there was another guy who was an American actor, and his accent was like maybe a teeny bit. You could tell he was acting,
Yeah.
just a teeny bit. And Rio, he's the real deal.
Yeah.
He's from Japan.
Yeah,
That's a real accent.
that's a real Japanese English accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I did. The guy who does my audio for The Dork Forest is a guy named Patrick Brady, and he graduated from film school right when I went from doing The Dork Forest as a call-in show to a pre-recorded show.
Yeah.
And he had just graduated from film school, and he had been listening to The Dork Forest for 4 years. And he had listened to the first couple of episodes, you and Kathleen Madigan, on,
Yeah.
I believe, the fourth one of the pre-recorded.
Oh.
And by then, like the second or third episode, he emailed me out of the blue and he said, "Hey, I just graduated. I have all this software knowledge. Can I fix that? It's better than it was on Blog Talk, the conference call, but it should be volume leveled and compressed and made into an MP3, and the files are too big." And so he volunteered to be my audio guy. And we've had this conversation before, but a couple of years ago, I had an idea for a sketch. And I don't have any reel. So I was like, do you have a team that I could pay to do the sketch? And it was a one-joke sketch.
Yeah.
And my biggest problem with Saturday Night Live sometimes and sketch shows is that it's a one-joke sketch
Yeah.
that goes on too long.
Yeah.
And so this was the whole thing. I wanted to play crazy street preacher who had hired a translator to crazy street preach at Mexicans or Puerto Ricans or someone Spanish speaking.
Okay.
And so I would say something horrible in English, and then I would turn to my translator, and she would look at me and say something like, "Hey, crazy white lady, is crazy," and then would say something nice. And it was that was the
So
whole.
she wasn't translating your words
She was not going to
properly.
translate my words. She was not going to do it, and she would say something either profoundly nice or "Look at Banana Head," and or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And
Can I tell you something right now?
Yeah.
I'm having a hot flash.
are you really?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
What's
That
that
just-
like?
You don't get him yet?
No. Remember me? I'm the one who
Oh yeah.
I'm
Niagara
just
Falls over here.
just constantly bleeding off and on. God knows when it'll end. The worst thing that could happen would be that I would get pregnant. So, do you need another water?
It is the worst thing. Trust me.
It would be.
I might need another water.
Yeah.
Is there one? If there's not, I will live.
Yeah, I have drank all the rest of the waters because we've been
I'm
here
fine.
for
I'm
hours.
fine. I'm fine.
Okay.
No, I just
But
thought
he turned it into 2-day shoot and 2 different sketches.
And did it hold up?
Yeah. I mean, it was a lot funnier than. I mean, they.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, but it was interesting because he had gone to film school, so he knew that one joke.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to watch a 5-second
Oh,
video.
you didn't know.
I didn't know.
He stopped you.
He's like,
he Aaron Foley'd your idea.
right.
He's
He was like, I know how
cross
to
that out.
actually. This is a thing. This is something that I was actually taught how to do, to film and produce, and he created these 2 amazing sketches. Me, essentially, there's a sketch on the internet of
Yeah.
me hiring the translator
Mm-hmm.
or trying to, and then a sketch of me just yelling at passersby. And then we superhero out. You don't need to know.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. I don't want to give it away, you guys.
It's not a hot flash, but I am angry with rage.
Now it's
Yeah.
just turned into that because I mentioned the Hulk. Okay, so what? Yeah, so that was.
It's hard to write sketches. It's I mean, sometimes
You write monologue stuff for Conan, right?
I feel so at home in my little monologue den, and then whenever I write a sketch, I'm like a blind in the wilderness. I don't know. Am I touching rocks or animals? Like I don't know. It's
you touch an elephant, and you think it's a rope. You think it's a suitcase.
I'm very off. Yeah. It's a different skill.
I submitted. I was asked to submit a packet. That's the word. Is that correct?
Yes.
Of sort of those things, the desk pieces.
Yes.
So I did some of that, and never heard anything back. So, but
Can I ask you something? How long did it take you?
an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, there's an idea.
It should take about a week.
It should take a week,
And it's
to
like
write
10. You're writing
to write
about
the
10
10
hours
best.
a day.
Oh Jesus! All right.
Maybe not 10 hours a day. But here's the thing: you're going to have to write 10 ideas that haven't been done before,
Yeah.
and aren't going to be on the other 200 packets.
Yeah.
You have to
Well, I spent a couple of hours watching other people's desk pieces,
yeah,
and so that I tried not to duplicate any.
right,
of that.
stuff, yeah.
So
right.
I did that, and then I tried to get in the head of the dude,
Yeah.
that I was writing for, and so I watched some of that stuff. So I
Yeah.
guess there was plenty of research,
Yeah,
and then I came up with some goofy ideas.
Yeah.
So there's more to the coming up of goofy ideas and then fleshing those ideas out, is what you're saying?
yeah.
There we go. Might be a learned skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a learned skill though.
Yeah.
And because I don't think comics are, a lot of them are naturally.
Yeah,
they're good at, or think they're good at it. It's like you can make you're so.
I think I can learn how to do it.
Yes, you spend so much energy, figuring out your own voice
Mm-hmm.
that when you're asked to write for a different voice, it's really jarring,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this, and it takes a lot of practice.
Yeah, it takes
and
practice and actual work.
You have the ability. You're a funny person,
Right.
And you just
It
have
could
to
be done.
apply it to a different thing,
Right.
And it's doable, and it's good to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Because even if you're writing for your own show, you're going to have different characters in a show, and you're going to want to be able to write for them too,
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's good to learn to write for other people, even though it doesn't feel like why you got into comedy. 'Cause
Right.
You got into comedy because you're screaming inside, and you got to write. You got to figure out how to turn this scream into a joke.
Right.
So that's
they
a
don't
never
lock me
ending
out. Yeah.
process.
Please
yeah.
don't lock me out. And but I think that's as a writing exercise, writing monologue stuff. Do you ever get stuff out of it that's more you than him?
Sometimes I write stuff that's a little that a guy probably shouldn't do. That's
So you don't submit
a
it?
joke. No, I'll submit it because sometimes you can.
You can't tell, or
Yeah, or you go, I know this is a decent joke, and maybe, if I put it in and we all, people like it, maybe there's a tweak that makes it a little more,
yeah.
what a guy doing a late night show could say. You know
Could
what I mean?
say,
It's like, my feeling about Sarah Palin, if I was saying, it could be much more pointed because I'm a woman. It's not going to look
It's not gonna-
misogynist.
Yes.
You know, versus if you had that same joke coming out of a guy, it would.
Even though in both cases, natural rage. No reason for there not to
Yeah.
be.
So yeah, there's that kind of a thing. But I never I rarely, you know, if I write something and I like it, a couple days later I'll tweet it. You know, if it doesn't get picked, you know, if
Yeah.
it's a joke that doesn't make
Of course.
the monologue. But
Yeah.
but it's two different sides of the head, and I think because I spend so much time with another voice in my head, I really, really want to make sure I still do stand up and keep my own voice, because it would be easy to just, you know, not do it.
I've met more writers who don't do it. I've met more writers. You and Brian
you
Kiley are
slide
like,
into that. You stay home a couple nights, and then you're like, I'm with my kid.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
you have a home life all of a sudden.
I'm caught up on television.
One of my internet
I've
dates.
seen Game of Thrones.
One of my internet dates was a writer guy, and he said he used to do stand up. I think I told you the story. It might have been on one of the non-published ones
Okay.
for the beginning. But it was he didn't want to. We were going back and forth and talking, and it was amicable enough. And we got to the point where we talked about what we did. And I said, "Well, I'm a stand-up comic," and he said, "Oh, I used to do stand-up. I'm a writer." And I was like, "Yeah, I write for a sitcom." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's neat. Fun." And then we were talking back and forth, and he's like, "Well, do you want to?" And then other red flags happened. I was like, "Do you want to go out for coffee?" He's like, "I hate coffee shops. I don't ever want to go out for coffee." Well, I want to fall over and die in a coffee shop, and then be buried in a coffee shop.
I love coffee shops.
And he said, I don't drink coffee. Do you want to go to a bar?" And I was like, "I, my friend, do not drink alcohol. I am so sorry." And I said, "Do you like breakfast?" And he goes, "Let's go out to dinner." And I was like, "A dinner? Dinner sounds expensive and big commitment
And near showtime.
and near and near showtime."
That's why you like breakfast. That's when you have your big meals at breakfast.
It's big meal at breakfast.
Showtime is for the leftover nachos.
Yeah, someone has a chicken tender. Leave me alone. And so
You eat the MC's nachos when they go to the bathroom.
and so I show up to a very fancy restaurant. He tells me in the restaurant, and I was like, "Well, the point of this whole story is that I said, because I did have a set that night. I said, I have a set, kind of later. Can we go for an earlier thing?" He said, "I'd go see you, but I hate stand-up now." And I said, "If you hate stand-up comedy, we should not date."
That's all I think about.
That's all I think about. That's
Yeah.
all. And he goes, "No, well, I don't hate it. I just, I don't do it anymore." And it's just like, I think everybody's doing it now. It's not very good. They're kind of hacks. And I'm like, "No, seriously, I don't think we should go out." And then he somehow talked me into it. And we go to this very expensive restaurant where he is already at the bar. He's 2 drinks in. We
Oh,
sit
when you
down.
meet?
Yeah, when we meet. We sit down, he has a drink, he has an after dinner drink, and then he tells me about his new coat. So he had a nice coat that he had to ask a plastic bag for. 'cause
Someone
it was-
else has a nice coat.
I have a nice coat. Hey, you guys. We both did a show last 2 weeks ago now. It would be
at
at
Flappers, Laura House's show.
Laura House's show. Great show at the Yoo-Hoo Room.
So I show up wearing a coat. that
I'm wearing my mocks, and I'm wearing my altered pants so that you can see my moccasins.
I'm wearing this coat that I have, and I can't throw it away, and I don't like it because it doesn't fit me right because my boobs stick out too much, and I can't button it.
It's got fringe. It's got it doesn't have fringe. It just has a sort of a jagged edge
Yeah.
that reminds me of fringe.
It's black suede.
It's black suede, and I've been looking for it, something to go with my reddish cowboy pants and my moccasins.
So I enter the club, and this liar across the way from me
I'll be donating to Jake Kruger this
begs
evening.
to have my jacket.
Wow, the reenactment, the reinvention of this story is all I just said.
I'm sorry, you stole it from me while I was on stage. I haven't seen it.
I
since
haven't seen it
tonight.
for 2 weeks. No, I just said, that's a hell of a jacket. Really goes with my outfit. When you immediately stripped it off and handed it to me and said,
Yeah, I
take
can take
it.
a fucking hint.
And I said, is this something from Walnut Creek? Is that what they do when you're raised rich?
No,
they
I'm
just give
Persian.
away the
I'm Persian,
clothes
and that's
off
what
of
we
your
do.
back. Are you? Now you're slamming the Armos. And, my Armenian brothers. Oh, did you see that thing about the Germans?
Wait,
The
hold on. How am I slamming the Armenians when I say I'm Persian?
Because they're Armenian Persian. They're Armenian Iranians is
Yeah.
the people who call themselves Persians. Ever since
I didn't know
the Shah
that.
of Iran, yeah.
Wait, but people that say they're Persian aren't Iranian. They're
They're Iranian.
Armani-
They're Iranian, and they're either Armenian. from Iran or they're Muslim from Iran.
This is like a science fiction thing to me now.
Well, it ought to be it. Well, the thing is it's
My eyes
I'm
hurt.
even bored. So
Okay.
let's keep moving.
All right.
And but do you hear about the Germans acknowledged the Armenian genocide?
Yeah, but hey, they know genocide when they see it. Those folks.
Which is the last German to acknowledge the Armenians was Hitler. So they've had
based his Holocaust on that one,
on the Armenian genocide. Yes. So they've had about 70 years to acknowledge the Armenian. But no. Now that there's all this anti-Muslim sentiment all over Europe, they're like, oh, by the way, we hate the Turks too. And you're like, I think you're using it as a stick to beat all Muslims. You
Well,
fuckwits.
everyone should
I'm
acknowledge it, but
suspicious.
it is.
Yes.
I don't understand why
I'm
Turkey
psyched.
can't just because it's strategically and they're an ally and we need their bases or whatever. But I don't understand why Turkey can't be like Germany and just go, yeah, we did a fucking shitty thing. Sorry.
Right, because they have never admitted it, and now
why are they so paranoid about admitting it?
because we're 4 generations in, and it's actually indoctrinated in the education system where the children are actually. If you meet a Turkish person today, they will have been raised with the idea that the Armenians made it up and that it was a voluntary exodus by the Armenian
I'm talking
people.
to an Armenian who just lied to me
That's
very
right.
easily.
Which is what
Who knows
we are
what you
like.
made up.
That's what we're all like. I'm just saying that if you need a really good deal on a rug, I know a guy. Let's
you.
talk to him. It's a good egg.
Okay, I had something else I was going to talk about that you
Please do. Please take it.
gone.
It can't be gone. What about the early days? You got a story for the kids? You got anything? Let's go back into the vault. You got what do you got for club
The
owners?
longest
or
I was on the
hecklers?
road straight was 9 weeks.
9 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
I spent part of it in Texas at Spellbinders. It was a club. Did you ever work Spellbinders?
I never worked. I heard about Spellbinders.
Great gig.
Great gig?
There were 2 locations, and they would work you 2 weeks at a time. So you'd
Okay.
be there for like four. That's a month right there.
That's a month of work.
And then it might have been, I forget, there might have been some Aubrey Pippin, the Comedy House Theater. I can't remember the exact run.
Yeah,
But
but
I was
9
gone
weeks
for
out.
9 weeks straight.
No nights dark. No nights where you had to find your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple
but
of those,
I'd stay
I'm
over
sure.
at the condo a couple extra
Okay.
days or something like that.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That sounds safe-ish. Mm-hmm. The weirdest gig that came out of Minneapolis was in.
Because I was featuring, so I couldn't afford to fly home for a day or two.
Right.
You know?
No,
I was
you
just
had to stay out.
Yeah.
And what was feature money at that time? Was it the same as it is today?
Probably about 500.
Oh my God, that's better than it is today. Some places. Spellbinders was paying 500.
5 to 6,
Oh, that's awesome.
maybe.
Good for them,
Plus, they gave you airfare.
dude.
It's like
That's amazing.
It wasn't much though. It was like $250. It wasn't too bad to fly. It's probably what it is now.
Was that early 90s?
Yeah.
Wow. No, it was like $300-400 to feature. Everywhere that I drove to.
Fuck.
Yeah, there was.
But they're all locals, right?
They were all gougey.
I
It was
mean,
super gougey.
Yeah.
You'd stay in condos and you'd do whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But there was the Westward Ho.
I worked the Westward Ho.
Did you? It was in Grand Forks,
Yeah.
North Dakota,
Shannon was the MC.
for a year.
Yeah. Some people would get, and I remember thinking, that is a sweet gig.
I wanted that gig so bad they wouldn't book me.
They let you live in the hotel.
If
Look
you-
at me. I'm still in awe of it. They let you live in that Westward Ho hotel.
They let you live in the motel that
Yes.
you got a single.
Yeah.
It was, and if you wanted, they'd let you work in the restaurant for spending money. You had to host all of the karaoke Monday through Sunday. Wow. And the 4 stand-up shows on Friday and Saturday.
so much stage time.
Or wait, no, I think it might have even been a Wednesday through Saturday.
Yeah, something like that.
So Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, you had to host the karaoke.
So you never got a night off?
You never got a night off.
Wow.
You and every single person who went came home a raging alcoholic. There were 3 people who went that I remember
That did it
offhand.
for a year?
That there was a year, and then 6 months
Oh, my
because
God.
people were actually being driven mad.
Oh, my
because
God.
Grand Forks, North Dakota, is you can. The wind will cut you in half and count the fucking rings. North Dakota can be very beautiful in the summer, but
Yeah.
in the winter it is devastating.
Yeah.
And so it was Shannon. Wait, so 4. Because it was Shannon whose last name I'm spacing.
McLean, maybe?
Yeah, McLaughlin.
Yeah, something like that. McLaughlin. Yeah.
So it was him. It was Isaac Whitty.
Isaac Whitty did it?
Chad Daniels
Oh my God.
and Shannon, and then who was the guy? I had it, now it's gone. Damn it. Oh, it was, but I was
Isaac
so
Whitty,
jealous.
that is crazy.
Isaac Whitty and Chad Daniels both did it, and it was a disaster. But here's the thing. Those guys came back from that. They came back to Minneapolis haggard, giant, because you got free booze. You got free booze and free shitty food. Or not shitty food if you were just staying there for a week,
Yeah.
but shitty food if you lived there
Yeah.
and didn't have a car.
And you don't have a kitchen there. You have,
have
like,
no kitchen.
Yeah, you had
which
a
is
hot
why
plate.
Shannon worked in the restaurant, because then he could get an occasional vegetable.
Wow.
But I don't think that Chad or Isaac, either of them, did. Who was the third? Damn it. It was somebody else also super funny.
Yeah.
And they all came home like giant bags under their eyes. And these guys were like 23.
Oh, my
24,
God.
black and haggard, but so funny.
Yeah.
But also super dark.
Yeah.
Really dark, because they had just been telling jokes to the same 12.
Oh, the same
North-
audience, too.
Right.
Oh.
So they had all this new material.
Yeah.
But it was dark and funny, and they turned into great comics because of it. But man, they had to organize. They had to come back from. It was PTSD. It really felt PTSD.
Some clubs do like residencies
Yes.
for MCs. I think that's a great idea.
It is a great idea, because you need a lot of stage time to get better. That's
Yeah.
how you get better.
Yeah.
And if you have a month, and there were places in, what's the thing that Sean Patton set up in New York, in that weird room with the curtain?
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the name
Dang
of
it.
it.
I'm spacing the name. New York City, super fun room. But
Mm-hmm.
when I was there for 3 weeks, 2 winters ago, I haven't been to New York in so long. I could not be angrier about it. I'm whatever. I'm disappointed. But he let me go up every week.
Oh, that's great.
And there was a UCB over in the East Village that let me go up every week too.
Yeah.
It was Kara Klinks. She
Yeah.
let me go up every week. So there was every week where I had at least 4 sets, and then I would pick up other ones. And the stand put me up a bunch too, which was great.
That's cool.
I gotta get back.
When I first moved to New York, the first I did sets like I had just done Montreal.
Okay.
And oh my God, even back then I was bad with faces. So this woman, who would be my agent for a little while, but she was goofy. But like now she's a soap opera agent, and it's
Okay.
perfect. It's a
Oh,
perfect
perfect.
match.
Yeah.
Okay, she's not a stand-up comic agent, but she was kind of spacey and goofy and weird, and she would drag her suitcase all over the place. You know.
She had a roller bag?
Yes, a roller bag. Yeah. So
Early adopter.
So at Montreal, she's like, "You got to move to New York." Like, if she hadn't said that to me, I wouldn't have moved. My whole life would have been different, right?
Right.
So it's weird how just one person can say something and
Yep.
it switches, light goes off. Okay, or on. So she says that to me early at Montreal, like say Wednesday or Thursday, and then Saturday I run into this woman who says, "Well, how's the festival going?" I'm like, "Okay." I mean, I met this lady, this agent, and she goes, "Yeah, me." I'm like, "Hey." I was about to say, she seems kooky. I don't know. Like she perfectly comedically stopped me before I ruined everything.
Yes.
And then I was like, "Yeah, I'm looking forward to it."
Oh, that's awesome. That's so.
Yeah.
It's so weird, because if the first time you go to a festival,
Yeah.
and there are industry there, they always tell you to move to LA or New York.
Yeah.
And the implication is that it's going to matter. And it will, because you eventually do have to move to LA, in my opinion.
I think it
Probably not
matters.
anymore. But I mean, because I think you should, just to run up the flagpole and see who salutes. I also, by the way, do not think that it matters if you move back home and just work the road and do stand up from Minneapolis.
I ran into at Bridgetown Josh Sneed.
Yeah.
He has like a whole life in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
But he does he does a ton of road
Chad
work.
Daniels lives in
Yeah.
Minneapolis,
There's really
Minnesota.
funny people that are raising their families.
Right, like people.
You know what I mean?
And then also
like
get to
people.
be stand-ups.
Yeah. That I would say the internet, social media. It doesn't
That's
feel
helped.
like
Yeah.
like I had no idea. He didn't live in Josh didn't live in LA. I'm like, but we're talking all the time.
Do you know why I moved to LA? Because in 1996, I did Aspen.
Yeah.
The second year of Aspen. Lisa
Yeah.
Leingang got me into Aspen.
Yeah.
And it was the year before everybody had to have a manager to get into Aspen.
Yeah.
And I was hanging out with somebody, and I met Jimmy Miller.
Oh.
And he saw my special, or he saw my set.
Yeah.
And he said, "You should move to L.A." And
That's it?
And I moved to L.A. And then he's never talked to me since. And so be it. And but matter of fact, I ran into him not long ago at
Yeah.
the Improv because he is Judd Apatow's
Yeah.
manager, and for
Yeah.
a short amount of time, Amy Schumer's.
Yeah.
And he was sitting there, Judd Apatow, Jimmy Miller, who is Dennis Miller's
Brother,
other
yeah.
shiny brother, and then Jay Leno. The three of them were sitting there.
Yeah.
And it was the Jackie Cation and Friends
I
show.
was there at that
You were
night.
at that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were there. And Jay Leno and Judd did work-ins because they're famous, and everybody
Cut the time.
had to cut their time, and I got to do 12 minutes on my own show. And
Leno-
not that I remember anything. About
Leno was funny that night
he was really funny
because he wasn't
actually.
doing any. He did a little political material, and people weren't into it, and they started talking about his life, and I was like,
Yes.
"Whoa, who is this guy? This
Yes.
is fucking great."
He had a couple of monologue jokes that reminded you of his monologue jokes.
Yes.
And then, which were fine, but nothing to go home, And then he did jokes about being, how old he is.
Yeah.
Talking to young intern ladies
Yeah.
and just trying to be kind of cool, but not
Connect,
creepy,
yeah.
and connect and not be weird. And it was genuine. And
Oh,
it was
yeah.
funny, and it was great.
Yeah, I was like more.
Yeah.
I
I
when
would have given him the last of my 12 minutes.
you give him 2. Had he ever put you on the Tonight Show, you would have given him 3.
That would have been nice. It was funny. I opened for Dennis Miller one time, and it was at Catch Rising Star in Reno.
Yeah.
And downstairs, this was probably only 3 or 4 years ago. Dennis was doing the theater down there, and they had forgot to book an opener. He had, and so they came up and they said, "Would you do 20 in front of him? We'll give you another nickel." And I was like, "Well, I'm already here. Yeah, I'll be fine." So I go up, and Dennis had watched my set, and so as I walked off,
Oh, that's cool.
He said, "Have you talked to Jay? Does Jay know who you are?" And I said, "Jay who?" I'm not great. I'm not great at the business side of it always, you guys. I think it's been an hour, Aristotle, don't you think? Oh, sweet. I'm
All right.
exhausted.
I am too.
The thing is we what did we talk about?
But you know what? What the fuck? You couldn't have done the Tonight Show. Like, who's that going to hurt?
Who was
You
that?
know?
Who would that have hurt?
I
If you
don't.
could have
that
done the
show was
Letterman?
on. Yeah, those shows were on for like 2 decades. You couldn't fucking throw me and Jackie on once.
Right. Instead, they're writing weird reviews of us because they know they can't ignore us. But heaven forbid.
It's always good to see me. It's always good to see Lori
Lori, it's
Kilmartin.
always good to see you. You want that to be our closing? Let it not be.
Bye.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.